Data Australasia, guided by lived experience, led by you.
Thanks again, Kylie, for that wonderful intro. It's Elise Lonsdale again from Data Australasia. Now, I'm doing this video on what I actually teach, which is access technology, as you'll know. I'm going to set up to give a demonstration of access technology, but it means me being in the other room, etc., which will happen on another video. So as we know, access technology is technology that gives people with a disability access to something. In this case, in my case, access to the computer or access to these things, the smartphone, the iPhone, etc. Access to a braille display, access to the written word. Oh yes, the written word. I often wonder whether these major organisations, and even the NDIs for that matter, want a whole bunch of people to turn out as dyslexics. But that's a point for another time, because the written word is just so cool. It means you can communicate. It means you can put your thoughts down on paper. Well, the electronic version of paper. It means you can read stuff for yourself. It's the basic human right to have a good education and thus read. When I teach access technology, I try and build into a lot of my training stories. And one person said to me about a year ago, "Why are you telling me all these stories? I just want to learn how to get my NVDA to read my Word document." I said, because the stories mean something. There's a lot of war stories out there that I could probably tell you. But it's how we resolved this matter, that matter, how I were able to get a customer to do or a client to do something that they otherwise couldn't do the day before. And the human brain is actually conditioned to want to know how the story ends. We've all had bedtime stories when we were younger. The parents read to us, or teachers read to us, or we learnt to read when we were at school. I'll put mine in inverted commas, and that's another video subject. But suffice it to say, most people learnt to read at school. Most people were exposed to some form of story. And as such, over the millennia, the human brain has been conditioned to want to know how the story ends. How does the story end? Or how does a story end? And how did we resolve a problem? And that's how we use the option of telling stories in my training. So a lot of what I teach people is the reason behind something. So I don't just say, let's click on this or enter on that, and then Alt-Tab to here, and then cursor to there, press enter on here, and then do a Control-S to save over there. Because it means bugger all. It doesn't mean anything. Because that workflow that I just generated, what happens if a dialog box pops up right in the middle of the workflow and interrupts it? "Oh, I can't do anything more because Elise didn't teach me that bit." Why wouldn't it be better to teach the person how to navigate that dialog box? It could be a virus warning, or it could be an email, it could be anything. Windows in particular is notorious, and so too is Mac, throwing up dialog boxes. And the Mac's always throwing up dialog boxes, for example, asking for permissions to do things every time you update the operating system. And sometimes those dialog boxes may not gain focus, and you may not even know they're there. But when you do know they're there, they can interrupt your workflow. So we teach people how to navigate the dialog boxes. Recently, when I was doing an introductory few sessions to a client online who is migrating from Zoom text, which is screen magnification, to using the JAWS for Windows screen reader, we did a whole lesson on dialog boxes, how to deal with checkboxes, buttons, how to find the default button, how to press spacebar or enter on that button to activate or to cancel a dialog box, or even if you've done an inadvertent keystroke and you bump the keyboard and something pops up, how to dismiss an unwanted dialog box. That's what we teach here at Data Australasia. We teach you how to work around these problems. We don't teach by rote. We teach you by reason. There's a reason that dialog box appeared. Yes, you may have triggered it accidentally. It might be spawned from a piece of recalcitrant software, or it might be something you actually need to know. Because the Save As dialog box is a good example. That comes up when you want it to. You have to know how to navigate that dialog box, not just learn the keystrokes by rote, because they don't mean anything. So that's what I offer here at Data Australasia. So as I've often said in some of my material, when you come to a Data Australasia training course, you get a lesson plan, 1. 2, you get the lesson itself, and that lesson plan becomes number 3, the case notes. Yes, number 4 is always the invoice. Can't forget the invoice. But we have a wonderful system that can assist people to pay those called the NDIS, and more on that in other videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Elise Lonsdale, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
For fast, efficient access technology training and support, call Elise Lonsdale from Australia 0448 966 533. That's 0448 966 533. Or from New Zealand on 027 315 2858. That's 027 315 2858. Data Australasia. Guided by lived experience, led by you.